Did you know that there are survey platforms that can pay you $50, $75, or even $100 per hour for sharing your opinion? In this video, I will show you 6 legit options where that kind of payout is possible. No hype, just real opportunities. And make sure you stick around to the end because I'll share a couple of bonus tips to help you get the most out of online survey opportunities. In case you don't know, my name's Michael and I have tested hundreds of survey sites, and let's just be honest, not all surveys are created equal. Some give a few dollars here and there, others pay $50 or more per hour for your feedback. And in this video, I'll walk you through 6 platforms where people get paid premium rates to participate in in-depth surveys. They are not always available every day, but when you do qualify, the payout can be worth it. And if you use them the right way, they can become a great boost to your online income. So alright, let's get straight to it. And the first platform is one that I have personally been a member of for years and that consistently offers some of the highest paying research opportunities out there. And it's called Respondent. And you can see now here when I show inside the platform, it has a quite decent number of these different survey opportunities. Some of them are one-on-one, as you can see, and some of them pay really well. For example, this one here would be 60 minutes. I would get $100 for that. Some are shorter. This is just 5 minutes. This one would pay then $5. So still a very good pay for your time. But of course, you will not qualify for all of them. They are quite strict with who they accept for high-paying surveys and interviews like this. So always read which ones you think you can qualify for, because you can only apply for 3 per day. So that's just something to keep in mind, but it can take patience. But as you can see, if you do find one you qualify for, the pay is very good. The next option is called User Interviews, and you can go and check out the current studies or interviews, surveys they have. You can even filter it if there's a certain type you only want to participate in. And then you can see, for example, there's one currently as of recording this video here that would give $5 for 10 minutes, $20 for 40 minutes, $10 here, $125 for 45 minutes. Of course, the higher the pay, the harder it also usually is to qualify for it, but I do like that they have this good overview where you can filter it. It has a decent amount of different surveys and studies you can participate in. You can see this one, this is a multi-day study, so that will also pay very good money there. But as it is with all platforms that pays this well, it can take patience. You can join it from all countries, but just because you can join doesn't mean that you can always find surveys and studies you can qualify for. So that's again something to just keep in mind, not just for user interviews, but for all of these platforms. Next, we have Dscout. This is also a platform you can join from basically all countries. They have some quite interesting different studies and surveys you can participate in. You can just see some examples of it here. You would need to use this as an app. So you just use it from your phone, find the different tasks you can participate in. And as you can see, on average, they actually pay $1 per minute. So that means that would be around $60 per hour they pay. That doesn't mean that you can work full time, of course. You cannot do that on any of these platforms, and it doesn't have that many different surveys and studies you can participate in my experience. But as you can see, when you do qualify, it can definitely be worth it. We're now halfway through, and it would be great if you just take 1 second to like this video because it can help it to be seen by more people. And I would also really appreciate if you hit the subscribe button to show support to my channel if you enjoy this video. The next option is called Vocal Views, and if we just look at some of the examples, you can see there are different studies. This one doesn't have as many studies you can participate in as the others in my experience, but if I just show you an example, you can see that they do pay well if you find one. For example, this one here would pay you $125, and another one here that would be 90-minute focus group where you would get paid $70. And you can join Vocal Views from basically all countries, but from what I have seen, most of the studies that I've come across anyways, they are available if you live in the US. So that's just something to keep in mind. Next we have Prolific, which is a high-paying service site, and usually the service don't take too long, but what you do need to be aware of is that even though you can join from many different countries, they do not always accept new members, so then they have a wait list, and that's something I'm often asked about. How can I make sure that I actually get accepted? But the thing is that it's actually a good thing that they don't just keep accepting new members, because they want to make sure that the members that are there regularly get access to the survey. So that's why they just stop, and then they don't allow new people to come in until they actually need it. I personally appreciate that, but of course it's frustrating if you want to become a member and you can't. The service you can find here are also quite interesting in my opinion. They do pay well, but they don't pay quite as well as the other options here. But in some countries you can, however, find very regularly and definitely weekly surveys you can participate in here. They do say that on average they pay around something like $12 to $18 per hour. That doesn't mean that a survey will last an hour. Usually they will be shorter, but that's just if you calculate it, and compared to many other survey sites, it is quite high paying. And the service you find here is something you cannot find on other survey sites. The last option I wanted to show you is called MindSwarms. It is as an app because the website actually doesn't have any information any longer for its users, so you would need to download the app. It's available for both iOS and Android devices, so you can use it no matter your device. And the surveys you do here, they're quite unusual because it's actually video surveys. So you get some questions, a task, and then you need to record a small video where you are answering and replying to whatever they ask you. So you need to feel comfortable about that, but if you do, then they do pay quite well. For example, you can see on the Facebook page, the show here around $50 for this study here, for this survey, and another one also $50 there. And that's also what I in general have seen when I have tested and used the app, that inside the app usually is somewhere $50 to $70 for a task, and they often don't even take that long. But the challenge is that there are very few surveys and studies available here, and usually they're also then for specific countries. Again, it just does take patience. And that was the 6 options I wanted to show you in no particular order, so it's not a prioritized list. And now you might be thinking, how are these platforms even able to pay $50 or more per hour for simple tasks like this? So let me just quickly explain how it works so you know what to expect and why the rates can be so high, before then going over a couple of bonus tips to help you earn the most. So the reason these platforms can offer such high payouts comes down to the type of research they are doing and who they're doing it for. Because they aren't the typical short surveys you, for example, see on Get Paid To sites and regular survey sites. Most of these are used by companies, startups, or researchers who are looking for very specific feedback. Whether it's from users of certain products, people in a particular job role, or just someone in a specific target demographic. And your feedback can then help shape new apps, products, websites, or even marketing campaigns. And that kind of insight can be extremely valuable to businesses. And that's why they're willing to pay $50 or $100 or sometimes even more for just 30 to 60 minutes of your time. The only catch is that these opportunities are not available all the time, as I have mentioned a few times here. You often have to apply and go through a screener to qualify, and there's no guarantee you will get in. But when you do get in, it can be well worth it, as you could see some examples of here. So now that you know why these platforms can pay so well, the next question is, how can you actually make the most out of them? So let me share a couple of quick bonus tips that can help you with that. So the first tip is to make sure to fill out your profile. It's always important to fill out your profile on service sites, but it's even more important on platforms that pays high rates like this, because they often give more opportunities to people who actually seem real and take the time to, for example, fill out their profile. So that's something you definitely should make sure to do. If you don't do it, you should honestly not expect to ever qualify for any of the studies on these platforms. The second tip is to make sure to join more sites. If you live in a country where you can join all of the options I talk about here, then join all of them. Because it is hard to qualify, so join as many as you can, because then it increases your chances of finding a survey or study that you can qualify for, and even qualifying for just a few per month can really boost your site income. So the final tip is to make sure to combine it with regular survey sites, because The great thing is that on the regular survey sites, even though they do not pay this much, they have many daily surveys, so you can always find available opportunities there, so you can keep earning while you're waiting for the high paying ones also. I do have a list of the highest paying regular survey sites also on my website. I will leave a link to that below, and I will also leave a link to the platforms I talked about here, where I have full written tutorials on my website if you want to know more about any of them. So you can check that out below, and I would also love to hear from you in a comment below if you have tried any of these platforms, if you have tried any other really high paying survey and research platforms. And finally, if the video helped you, make sure to hit the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out next time I release a video with tips and tricks about different ways to make money online.